Hey you, if you're not where you want to be right now professionally, if you feel stuck behind or like that dream job is miles away, I see you. I feel you because not long ago, I was you. You need to hear this. A couple of days ago, I found a clip of my very first time on television, and I want to share it with you today because we all start somewhere, and this is where my journalism journey started.
Mariana, Atencio con ustedes, desde el diario La Prensa. Vamos con los titulares.
When I graduated from Columbia University's journalism school and I had gone to the broadcasting department, I thought that TV networks were going to be offering me jobs. It was not the case. The doors of television were shut in my face. And the only job that I could land graduating from that Ivy League school, coming from another country during the recession, was in this Spanish newspaper in New York City, El Diario. And I was frustrated because I was writing for this newspaper, but it wasn't in English, this language that I had made all this effort to be able to study in, and it felt like I was going back. First of all, I'll tell you that it wasn't the case because just like I teach attendees at my authenticity conferences, I doubled down on what I knew how to do better than most people, my uniqueness. And that, in that moment in time, was my Spanish. But I was also frustrated because I was writing and I wanted to be on television. I wanted to tell stories and to connect with people on screen. And it seemed like I was just so far away from that. Well, I'll tell you that I showed up, I worked hard, and I remember this one day when I was standing there in the newsroom. Everyone's like really busy, right? Newsrooms are very hectic. And the editor said, "Is there someone who wants to narrate the newspaper's headlines on the local station tonight?" And it was a live 30-second spot, just 30 seconds. We had a little camera inside the newsroom and you had to stand up in this little platform as everybody else was clicking and clacking on their computers on deadline, practically walking in front of you, and muster the courage to look at that little camera and say, "These are the stories we are going to be covering tomorrow," for that local station audience to buy our newspaper. And I remember that I had never done anything like that before, not live TV, not anchored or narrated anything, but I just kind of like instinctively raised my hand and said, "Joe, me." And that night, I got on that little stool and the piece of video that you saw right now was the end result. That was my first ever moment on television. And I remember I was so nervous that my jaw was just like really tense, and moments before going on, like I felt my mouth trembling. I really did, but I did it. And that editor said, "Kid, you're not bad. If you're willing to do it tomorrow, I'll give you the opportunity." And I did it every day after that, including Saturdays where I had to stay until 6 p.m. for that spot, that live spot, to go on the air. And I'm not going to say that I was like the best at it, but I was willing to show up every day and say yes and do that on top of my other work, and I wasn't getting paid extra to do that. I even remember the moment where I said to myself, like, I have to come up with a little tagline so that audience over there will remember me. And it's a 30-second spot, so it had to be very short and something that I could use every day. And I remember that I came up with "No te lo pierdas," like don't miss it. Every day I would end with "No te lo pierdas," and sometimes people like around the city would identify me like "No te lo pierdas." It started to become a thing. And what I want to teach you about that opportunity is that I wasn't happy where I was. I wasn't at my dream job, not by a long shot, but I used it as a stepping stone to get to where I wanted to go. So if you are feeling stuck right now, if you're feeling in that place like it's never going to happen, I'm here to tell you, don't give up. Just keep your eyes open. Keep saying yes. Keep showing up. Your moment is coming, my friend. I promise. So tell me where you started. I'd love to hear your story.